If you have any questions, you can throw them in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself since there's only a couple of you in here. Hopefully more people join. If not, we'll cover as much as we can. Questions are very welcome, so feel free to ask away as we go along. All right, I'm going to share my screen here. Is everybody seeing that okay? Should be seeing the help tab. Perfect, thank you. All right, so a couple basics we always like to cover at the beginning of each webinar. Our support resources here within your account. If you pop out this menu, you'll see the support tab, second to the bottom there. You can find our knowledge base here. You can email our support team, join our Facebook group. We have a YouTube channel with lots of videos that give you step-by-step walkthroughs and instructions. So some good resources here to keep in mind. All right, let's jump into Sherpa. I'd like to cover the billing information. You know, there's a couple of you in here that are familiar with all of this, a couple new that I have not seen before. But you can always check your billing information, your next bill date, how many uploads you have remaining, how many you've used, etc. All the history under your account settings under the billing information tab. Excuse me. This is our test account, so it's just blank, but if you go to this section in your account, you will see all of that information. So just FYI on that. We're going to cover texting really quickly, even though, you know, it's kind of dying down, I guess you could say. You know, the carrier is getting more and more strict with texting, so we're doing everything that we can to, you know, make it last for as long as possible. So the first component that goes into texting and keeping high delivery rates and, you know, trying to generate some qualified leads will be your templates. We have what we call categories. So if you come in here, you can see that we have 5 different categories here. You can create as many different categories as you like. Some people like to create categories for different days of the week. So they'll create one for Monday, and the template can say something specific to, hey, happy Monday, you know, blah, 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 whatever. You can have one for each day of the week. Whatever you want to have is great. The initial and the follow-up are default categories that come in your Sherpa account. So one thing with each category, we want to make sure that we have a minimum of 10 templates in each category. So if you're going to go into a campaign and you are going to message somebody using the initial category, you want to make sure you have 10 valid templates. And the reason for this is we automatically cycle through the templates in each category as we send out messages. So it gives some variation. If you only have 2 or 3 templates in a category, then obviously that template is going to get used over and over again. And, you know, you're going to probably get blocked by the carrier. So something to keep in mind there. You want to have at least 10. Another thing with templates, we want to avoid spammy language. So the words cash, cash offer, investor, things like that, we don't want to say. There are some words that if you try to type them in a template, it's going to say, no, you can't use that word. You know, that's a spammy word. So let's say apologize. Pretty sure this is a word. So you'll see this little red message. Message may not contain spam words, apologize. The reason why we don't have cash or cash offer and all of the other words is we don't really know exactly what words will get you marked or blocked as spam. So the carrier doesn't tell us exactly what we have to refrain from using. We just kind of have to use our best judgment on words that we think stand out and come across as spam. So keep that in mind. You know, we tell you cash, cash offer, and investor, but obviously there's probably more out there. So just pay attention to your templates. If you see your templates start to drop in delivery rate, so like this test one, it's only down to 66%. You can go in here and hit edit take a look at it, see what could be wrong. Obviously, everything is wrong with this template, but pay attention to the words that are in that template. And if there's something standing out that might be causing it to have a lower delivery rate, take it out, modify it. It doesn't hurt to come in here and modify your templates every so often anyways, just to give them a fresh look. If this were our legit account that we were using to message, we would definitely want to come in here and modify some of these templates because they haven't been touched for almost 6 months. So keeping fresh templates will help, avoiding spammy language, and then having at least 10 templates per category. Is there any questions in regard to templates and best practices there?
No.
Perfect. All right. Let's see here. Just letting a couple more people in. All right.
Hello, Amber,
Yeah.
if I may, I can give you
Absolutely.
just another idea of using this page. So you can
Yes,
also
please.
combine this with active and inactive templates from using these 3 dots on the right, in the right corner. So if you want to allow, for example, us in our company, we have 2 categories available all the time, and then we combine the 2 in order to make even bigger rotation. So we use,
Right.
say, all of those initial plus all of those follow-up, and you just switch from one another and take whichever batch you want to send at the moment. But
Yeah.
if I want to do something additionally, then I create additional category, and this category I allow by using active and inactive archived and returning them, bringing them revived from archive, and then making it available just for a very short time when I want to target the certain category. And that certain category could be organized in territorial or in some status way. For example, if those are all customers that I used to communicate with and now I want to send them reminder, then it's a good way to just allow a new category for a moment to create 3 or 4 templates, not more, for smaller categories, and then send these 3 or 4 different templates in rotation to all of those customers, and then make the category again inactive templates. Actually, from that category I put to archive again, and then they became inactive. And it's very convenient for me because I don't need to explain to other members of the team what I'm doing. I just allow this template and do it for 30 minutes, for example, and then close the entire category by putting it back to archive. So this is a great tool that we are using a lot in the last time. Just you can later on explore a bit. It's great opportunity by putting to archive and reviving back from archive when you need it.
Yes,
Sorry,
very good
that
point.
is just another idea.
Yeah, thanks, Sasha.
Just another
I
idea
agree.
for
That
you.
is.
Yeah. You know that we explore with different things. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, and just to add on to that, you kind of mentioned it. You can also come in here, kind of like Sasha said, if you want to use this for a certain category, but then you're like, oh, well, I want to throw it into my follow-up. You can just hit the little 3 dots and then hit edit. Well, we're going really slow right now. Not archive. Whoops. Go in here, hit edit, and then you can move it to which category you want. So like Sasha said, oh, I just want to use it today for my follow-up category. I can hit that, and that template is going to jump in to my follow-up category. And you can move these as much as you like, depending on the category that you want to use for that day or that campaign or whatever it may be. So yeah, good points there, Sasha. Is there any other questions before we jump out of the templates? All right. Let's go into a campaign now and we'll kind of show how this looks. So when we come into a campaign and we're ready to message, we'll see that we have, this is a really big one, all of our categories here. So I only had 2 valid templates in my follow-up category. So I don't want to use this category because if I do, the template's going to populate over here. And I'm going to go and I'm going to hit send. And then I'm going to hit send again and again, and it's going to only rotate through those 2 templates. So if I send 151 messages using 2 templates, that's going to stand out as spam. we're going to get blocked by the carrier, and you'll be locked out for 2 hours, not able to send messages. So very, very, very important to have at least 10 templates per category. The more you have, the better. Just like phone numbers, the more phone numbers you have, the more we have to cycle through. It gives more variation. So the more templates you have, the less chance you have to get blocked by the carrier. So let's say we are in here and we have 10 templates in our initial category, and we're sending messages. That's all great. We can send 100 messages. Each batch consists of 100 messages. Excuse me. Once we send a batch of 100, we recommend that you jump into your prospects and messages tab, take a look at any of the responses that come through and reply to them, handle all your responses, and then let's go back to the send button, send another batch of 100 if your campaign is large enough, obviously, and then jump back to prospects and messages, reply to any new messages that come through, and jump back and forth between these two tabs. What that's going to do is give us a little bit of space between each batch. So in the past, we didn't really have to worry about this too much, but now, again, with how strict the carrier is getting, we want to make sure we're spacing our batches out so we can see, if we click on our campaign metrics, the batches in this campaign. We want to make sure that they're at least 10 to 15 minutes apart. It just gives us a little bit of space. It doesn't look like a computer just sending, thousands of messages to people looking spammy. So if you can space those out, that will also help keep your delivery rates high. And if you do that 10 to 15 minutes, you can still send about 500 messages an hour. I mean, if you do that for 8 hours straight, that's still 4,000 messages a day. So you can still pump out quite a few messages, by spacing out the batches. So just keep that in mind in regard to keeping delivery rates high and hopefully generating some leads. Any questions on best practices? Really anything SMS related at all? We're kind of going to jump into PropStack here. So just want to make sure we've covered any ground in regard to SMS. All right. And again, if you think of a question as we're kind of going along, throw it in the chat, even if it's not related to what I'm talking about, totally fine. I'll pay attention to the chat there and we can answer that when it comes through. All right, so now on to our newer features. We just recently released PropStack. So PropStack is our list stacking. Here we go. It's our list stacking feature. So what list stacking does is it allows real estate investors to identify properties that may be under, more distress. And so it makes it so that they're more likely to sell. You can come in here, you see the distress indicator toggle. Let's see, what should we do here? Let's do 3 to 14. Let's do that. So what is a distress indicator? If some of you aren't aware, basically it's going to identify which properties are most likely to sell due to whatever reason. Maybe the owner is unable to keep up with the mortgage payments, or they're going through a divorce, or whatever it may be. The more distress indicators a property has, the higher the chances that they're going to sell. So you can come in here and apply that, and all these people are tagged with some type of distress indicator. And so what you could do is simply click on the top checkbox here and then hit take action on the right hand side, and you can push this directly to an SMS campaign and send them messages right from PropStack. So I mean, right there, that's a list of 1,100 people that may be under distress and likely to sell, that you can send right over to a campaign and start messaging right away. A couple of tabs here, just want to clarify these. The property records tab, we don't need that anymore. The property records tab, this is where we're looking at the property address. That's the information that we are paying attention to on this tab. And the prospect tab is, obviously we're going to see duplicate addresses. I don't see any, taking a quick glance here. But on the property records tab, yeah, we will see duplicate addresses. It's not unique to the property address. The prospect records, though, we're looking at the phone number associated with the property address. Sorry, I made that confusing. Prospect records, we will see duplicate addresses. On the property records tab, we do not, because it's unique to the property address, but the prospect records, we're looking at the phone numbers associated to the property address. So if we clear our filters, we should have a lot more than 1100. Anyways, you can see all of your information here. So basically what you can do with PropStack, you can make this like the hub of your prospects, right? This should be your whole database. There's no limit on how many prospects you can upload into PropStack. You can come over here, import a list of 30,000 prospects if you want. Any prospect that's here does not count towards your upload limit. This is just a hub database, you know, the heart of your business where you can keep all your information. The only time it's going to count towards your upload limit is if you check the box, take action, push it to an SMS campaign, and the prospect hasn't previously been uploaded to Sherpa before. That's when it would count to your upload limit. Does that make sense? So you can have as many prospects as you want in here. They won't count towards your upload limit unless you push them to an SMS campaign and they haven't been uploaded prior to that push. Let's see what else in PropStack. Kind of a cool feature. You can come down here to additional filters and you can hit push to SMS and you can hit this toggle to no. So let's say you do dump a big list in here and you've been, you know, keeping track of all your prospect records, property records, whatever, but you're like, I want to do a campaign with everybody that has never been messaged by me in Sherpa before. You can hit this push to SMS checkbox, select the no toggle, hit apply. So I have 9,348 prospects in PropStack that we could push to SMS here. So again, we would just check the box, take action, push to campaign, SMS. When you do this, you can push it to an existing campaign. So let's say we want to push it to one that we've already prior done, lead fusion, whatever. You can do that, or you can create a new campaign straight from here. You can name your campaign, push to SMS, whatever you want to call it. Choose the market you want to use. Let's say Twilio. We can include only new prospects, all prospects, only new. And if you want to have certain property tags that are associated with the prospects pushed over, you can do that as well. If not, it's going to bring them all over. And then you would just hit submit. And that is going to create a campaign here on your campaigns dashboard, ready for you to message. So that, obviously, we have a ton of different filters with more custom filters coming in our next release. But we have a lot of different filters here that you can use. The more filters that you apply, obviously, the less prospects you're going to have because it's not going to separate them by appointment, response received, and dead. It's going to combine all those three together. So if you want to just find prospects you need to follow up with, you would just check the one box. And I have 134 in here that we have marked as a follow-up. So lots of different filters, lots of things you can do in here. If you have any suggestions for future enhancements in regard to PropStack, you see we're still in beta here. Please send them our way. You can submit a ticket. We can pass it on to our dev team. You can email me. But let us know. We want the feedback to try to make this as good as we can. So the next, yes,
Amber,
Sasha, go ahead.
yes, if I may, I can give you another idea. I was also experimenting a lot with this PropStack tool. It's great
Yes,
tool,
please.
really, in my opinion. So I try different things, but for example, we know that first time we send message, it is in the status initial message sent. Until we receive any response from the customer, then it goes to the response received. So those are statuses that we have automatically organized by Sherpa, and it helps us a lot. So it's possible to create, for example, batch by only filtering initially message sent, and then you will catch all your messages that you haven't, people that haven't ever responded to our first initial messages, even if you try to contact them several times. On the other hand, if you try to use the response received instead of initial message sent, then you will have all of those who once tried to at least to respond something but never continued the communication. So both categories are very good, and you should approach them in the adequate way. But you know exactly what group of people are those. But in my opinion, so I was testing all that, but it's not as convenient and successful as geographic campaign. So I would recommend, as it is now, it is set now, to use prospect records on the top of the page. Yes, not property records, but as it is shown now, prospect records. And then you can target here in search on the right corner, next to take action, you can target certain territory. So for example, you have Colorado
Right.
Springs or Inglewood, or so you can take Colorado Springs and create, exert a huge campaign with all your Colorado Springs leads. And for example, 31, some of them are going to be duplicate from the other campaigns that you might be using currently, some of them not. But I saw that also in practical usage, that those that are made as duplicates are going to be skipped by sending, and us as a company are know-how damaged in any way. So you're being very fair in that way. So it's just skipped and not being counted, not being charged, nothing. Yeah. So it doesn't matter actually if you make some duplicate out of 200 SMS sent, 120 are going to be delivered, 80 would be duplicates and not charged. That's the worst that can happen. It's nothing horrible. Yeah. So in this way, you can organize then your campaigns in a brilliant way. You will have Inglewood campaign, Inglewood territory, Colorado Springs territory, and then you can also plan your timing to contact these people by the beginning of the month, these people at middle of the month or something like that, depending on how many customers you have. So I would definitely recommend this way, to use prospect records on the top with telephones, single telephones, one by one after another, and then to organize them in geographical way. So I tried many things, believe me. So I feel somehow that I live within Sherpa, feed Sherpa. So
That's good.
this,
That's good.
yeah. So this is just recommendation for creating. It's very good. So nothing worse than duplicate the leads that are being skipped is going to happen. And it's very well organized when you see that later on in your campaign feed. That's yes for the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is a great recommendation. That's just another way to show how many different ways we can filter this list by, just by city, target that city again. And then you also mentioned the initial message sent lead stage. This is a great one. Let's say you want to create a huge follow-up campaign of people that you've sent a message to, but they've never replied. Initial message sent would be the one. You could just check that box, hit apply. And I mean, this is crazy big. 280,000 people that we've sent a message to that haven't replied. We probably don't want to hit the check mark and send this directly to a campaign. What I would recommend doing if you have a file this large would be to export it as a CSV, break it into some sections. I mean, this is ridiculously large, but break it into some sections and then upload them to a campaign, just so that we don't have a campaign that's overwhelming and we don't want to get blocked by the carrier. So
it functions as a huge SEO search engine mechanism. So it's going to deliver maybe slowly, maybe it will take a day or two if you give them too many tasks, but it functions. It's a mechanism that will come up with an answer after a day or two if it's piled up with many leads, with hundreds of thousands of leads that you have that needs to be searched through, and but it's going to deliver in the end.
Absolutely. Yep. No. Very good point. Before I jump off of PropStack, was there any other comments or recommendations? Sasha had a few great ones there from anybody here. Looks like we have a question in the chat, so I'm going to jump off here for a sec. If anything comes up, feel free to throw it in the chat or unmute yourself. Patty asked, can I add a tag to a file I have skip traced, or do they have to be associated to a campaign to tag them? Yeah, you can't tag a skip trace. Once you push it to a campaign, you can go to that campaign, and then you'll see here, you can add that tag after it's been pushed over to a campaign. All right, let's jump in to about 10 more minutes here. Let's jump into our other new feature, direct mail. So we recently came out with direct mail, very new feature. I'm not sure if any of you guys have used it yet, but with direct mail, you can do a few different things. You can target and include as many prospects as you would like in a campaign. So just like an SMS campaign, you can do that. You can customize your postcards with different designs. There's no order minimum or maximum. If you just need to send a few out, you can. If you need to send a huge list out, that's fine too. The pricing is 44 cents a postcard, which is a pretty good price in the market. You can select the exact date that you would like the postcard to go out. So, you can be very specific in your marketing. Skip trace is not required to send direct mail. You can send even if you haven't skip traced a list. The fonts on our direct mail are handwritten. They look really, real, not like it was just printed and sent. So let's take a look at this. When you want to go and create a direct mail campaign, it would be the same thing as if we were on the normal campaign tab to do an SMS campaign. You would just hit create campaign in the top right hand corner, choose direct mail, and then you could import and upload your list here. I'm not going to upload a real list. Actually, I think I need to. Let's just do. I'm actually going to send one. Let's just send one from PropStack, just so that we have one. All right, take action, push to direct mail. All right, so we're going to give it a campaign name. Let's call this one our follow-up direct mail, or whatever you want to call it. Put in your budget, whatever that is, hit next, and then we're going to fill out this information. So you can choose your template here. Once you get used to the templates, you can just select the drop down and choose whichever one you want. Since it's a new feature, there's this little icon here. You can click on it. And it's actually going to give you a preview of all of the different templates that we have. So you can select which one you want. Let's go with this one. This one's nice. It'll have the house on the front of it. Hit select. Awesome. Tracking phone number. So this is going to be your phone number. So this is how it will be tracked. I'm pretty sure that one. Yeah, this number will be printed on your postcard as a contact for prospects to respond to you. So, if they get it and they want to reach out to you, this is the number that you want to put under the tracking phone number. You can put which team member it's from, and then here's where you can schedule your drop date. So you can be very specific. Let's say we want to do it. Well, we probably don't want to do it around the holiday. Let's say June 9th, middle of the week on a Wednesday. We hit apply. Whoops. Perfect. Put your return address, blah, blah, blah. Choose your state, and then you're going to hit next. Let's do that. Oops, I got to put my phone number. All right. So it's going to give you a little bit of a preview. You can see the postcard up close compared to when you were choosing the template. It was a little bit smaller. So there's the front. You can also see the back. Little message, the house, awesome. It kind of gives you an overview, first time drop, postcard, the street view, blah, 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 blah. Shows how many times we're going to be charged. So for 134 pieces at 44 cents a postcard, that's $58. Then all you do is hit, I approve this artwork for printing, and hit approve and pay. And that's it. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to approve it because I don't want that to go out. But let's see if I can take a look at one that's, oh, this probably shouldn't be processing. I probably should cancel it. But once it's done, you can come in here. You can see which postcard you picked. You can see the schedule. The production is in process as of 5/7. It's scheduled. It was received by the print facility on 5/7. You can see every step of the way where the postcard is, all the way up till it's en route and delivered. This one only has one recipient. Your whole list will appear here, depending on how many people you have. You can just scroll through and see it that way. You can export the list as well. If you ever need to import it back into PropStack, you can do that. But this is DirectMail. Is there any questions? It's pretty simple. Don't think I see any questions in the chat. Sasha, question for you. Have you tried DirectMail yet? Do you have any feedback or recommendations? If you have, you always bring good comments. So I'm curious as to what you've seen so far, if you've used it. I think Sasha's still in here.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes, I'm just using texting, and we have other departments who are doing with calling and mailing. So I don't. Yes, but you mentioned last time 39 cents per postcard. Now you said 44. Has the price increased, or I misunderstood something?
Yeah, when it was in beta, we offered our beta users 39 cents per postcard. Now that it's been released, it's at 44. I'm not sure if you were a beta user, if it's locked in at 39, you might be. I can double check on that for you after, Sasha, and make sure. But yeah, it's 44 cents now that it's been released. So.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I will pass that information to my manager. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, I think we've covered everything that I have for today. Was there any other questions? We have a couple more minutes here. If anybody wants to unmute or throw a question in the chat, happy to answer any questions that you guys have. If not, we can end a few minutes early. Want to make sure we answer anything that may have popped up. No questions. I think we've only had one question in the chat so far. I feel like I've been talking nonstop. All right. If there's no other questions, we'll end a little bit early here. If any of you guys are interested in an account takeover, basically what that is, we have some members of our team go into your account and they text on your behalf to try to help generate some leads for you. They also come in, take a look at your templates, recommend any changes that they would say, could be made to help improve delivery rates. And they record their screen as they go along and do this, and then send you a follow-up email with any potential leads after for you to follow up with. So if anybody's interested in an account takeover, just come down to this little help icon and submit a help ticket. Let our support team know, and we will get you on the schedule for that. I think we have a couple of openings this week. So if you're interested, let us know and we will get you on the schedule. And if there's nothing else, we will wrap it up. We will be here 2 weeks from today, same place, same time. We post on Facebook the reminder before with the Zoom link. So just look for that on Facebook. And if there is nothing else, one last check on the chat. All right, if there's nothing else, we will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody.